Welcome to the RVCC podcast. At RV Community for Christ, we want to help you grow in your faith, lead your family, and influence your workplace. This is our very first podcast. This is the first podcast that we've ever done. And we're so excited that you are a part. And before we get jumping into this very first episode, let me kind of give you a lay of the land. Let me give you a little bit of how these podcasts are going to work. We're going to release 2 podcast episodes every single month. One episode is going to be like the episode today. It's going to be content driven. We're going to give you some tips and some pointers and some next steps. And then the other podcast is going to be an interview where we're going to be interviewing people in the RV industry and all different realms of the RV industry to hear their story so that we can learn and grow together. So 2 podcasts a month. One's going to be an interview and one's going to be content. Today, we're going to give you, hopefully, some inspiration and information that's going to help you grow. Today, I want to talk with you about 3 things that you need to do every day. Without a doubt, these are 3 things you need to do every single day. These 3 things are found in the Bible. I'm a Bible guy. I love the Bible. I love the Word of God. It is alive. It makes an impact in my heart and in the world around me. So we're going to look at the Bible quite a bit here at RVCC. The story in the Bible is found in 1 Samuel chapter 16. In 1 Samuel chapter 16, I encourage you to read the entire chapter on your own, 1 Samuel chapter 16 today. Because of time, we want to just give you an overview of the story and pull out the truths and pull out the principles. What's happening here is there's a leader by the name of Samuel. Samuel is a spiritual leader of the nation. There's a king by the name of Saul. Saul has kind of gone off the rails, man. He's struggling. He's kind of whack-a-doodle-doo a little bit. And finally, God had said, you know what? I've had a belly full of this. You're no longer going to be the king. But he was still in office, but God was going to anoint a new king. Samuel was very sad about this. He was upset about this. He loved Saul. He wanted to see Saul succeed, and Saul was failing, and he had failed, and he was bummed. And so God comes to Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter 16, and he says, "How long will you mourn for Saul, since I've rejected him as king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and be on your way, for I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king." And Samuel says to God, "How can I go? If Saul hears about this, he'll kill me." And the Lord said, "Take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what to do. You are to anoint for me the one that I indicate." So Samuel did what the Lord said. In this first part of the story, Samuel, man, he's bummed. He's down. And God gives him an assignment, and the assignment was very hard. It was something that he didn't really want to do, but it's something that God wanted him to do, and he was fearful that he was going to be punished. He might even be killed, and he didn't want to do it. God spoke to Samuel to do something, and Samuel was scared. But in verse 4, it says, "So Samuel did what the Lord had commanded." The first thing that Samuel did is the very same thing that you and I need to do every day. We need to conquer our fears. Samuel conquered his fear. There was something that he knew he needed to do, but he was a little bit afraid to do it. But you know what he did? He trusted God, and he did it anyway. So let me ask you this. What is that thing that in your heart you know that you need to do? What is that thing that you need to stop doing, that thing that you need to say, that change that you need to make, that you know in your heart, this is not easy, but it is right? Conquer your fears. Every single day, there's going to be something come up that's the right thing to do, but it's a tough thing to do. And in that moment, you're going to have to be like our friend Sam and conquer your fears. As the story goes on, the Bible says that Samuel goes to Jesse's house. And when he goes to Jesse's house, they're a little bit afraid that he's there because he's a very powerful man. And he says, "Hey, I come in peace. I've come to sacrifice." And he says to go get all of your boys. And so Jesse, the father, goes and gets all of his sons. And when they arrived, in verse number 6, it says, "And when they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab." He's the oldest son. Samuel saw Eliab and thought, "Surely the Lord's anointed stands here before me." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at things as people looks at it. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and had him pass in front of Samuel. But Samuel said, the Lord has not chosen him either. Then Jesse had Shammah pass by him, and Samuel said, the Lord has not chosen this one. Jesse had 7 sons, and 7 sons passed before him. And each time Samuel said, the Lord has not chosen these. So Samuel asked Jesse, are these all your sons? Jesse said, they're still the youngest, but he's tending the sheep. And Samuel replied, send for him, for we will not sit down until he comes. Let me ask you a question. Why was Samuel there? Samuel was there to find a king. God had given him an assignment. One of Jesse's boys is going to be the next king. And so Samuel tried with Eliab, and he failed. Eliab wasn't the one. So he tried again, and that young man wasn't the one. Then he tried with Shammah, and he wasn't the one. Then he tried with Abinadab, and he wasn't the one. 7 times Samuel tried, and 7 times he failed. And at the end of all of his failures, what did he do? He asked a question, and he tried again. You see, every single day, what you and I need to do is we need to conquer our fear. Then whenever we step out in faith and we do what we know it's right, you know what's going to happen many times. In fact, more often than not, you are going to fail. Your idea is not going to work at first. You're going to fail. You're going to fall on your face. What do you do when you fail? You don't let your failures stop you. Samuel tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed. And at the end of all of his failures, what did he do? He just asked a question. Are these all your sons? As if to say, listen, I know I heard God. I know I'm supposed to be here to find a king. These boys in front of me aren't the king. So where's the other boy? Are these all your sons? He tried and failed, and he tried again. If you are going to be successful in your personal life, if you're going to be successful at growing in your faith, you're going to have to not let your failure stop you. If you're going to be successful at leading your family, you're going to have to try again after you fail. If you're going to be successful at influencing your workplace, you're going to have to do something very creative. And at the end of your failures, instead of making a statement like, well, I was wrong, or, well, we can't do it, or, well, no, instead of making a statement, ask a question. Don't make statements like, they won't listen to me, it won't work. Ask a question. Why won't they listen to me? What can I do to get them to listen to me? How can I change so it actually will work? Every single day, you are going to have to conquer your fears and then not let your failures stop you. And the third thing that you need to do every single day is you need to not see people for who they are, but see them for who they're going to be. In verse 11, it says, so he asked Jesse, are these all your sons? And they said, well, I still have one. He's the youngest. He said, he's tending the sheep. And Samuel said, send for him, for we will not sit down until he arrives. So he sent for him, and he had him brought in. And David was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. This is the one. So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. You see, when Jesse saw this boy David, he didn't see much. In fact, he didn't even invite him to the dinner. Think about this. Samuel comes and says, send me all your boys. And he plumb forgets that he's got a son named David out in the field. David was not respected by his father. David was an outsider in his own family. We don't know why. His brothers didn't respect him. We see that in other parts of the story of David as well. When David's father saw him, all he saw was a little tiny shepherd boy. When David's brothers saw him, all they saw was a little tiny nobody shepherd boy. But when Samuel saw him, he didn't see him for who he currently was, a little nobody shepherd boy. He saw him for who he was going to be, the next king. Who is it in your life right now that you need to have God's eyes for? Who is it in your life now that you need to see not for who they are, but for who they're going to be? Maybe there's something going on in your family right now. You need to see your child not for who they are, but for who they're going to be. Maybe there's something going on in your workplace right now. You need to see the potential in someone, not who they are, but who they're going to be. Every single day, you're going to have to be like Samuel and not see people as the little tiny shepherd boys. You're going to need to see them as the next kings and queens that God has called. You see, if it wasn't for Samuel, David would have lived and died a shepherd boy. But because Samuel conquered his fear, he didn't let his failure stop him. And he didn't see people for who they were, but for who they were going to be. This little tiny shepherd boy named David becomes the next king. In fact, he becomes the king of Israel. He's from the tribe of Judah. And it is out of the house of David that Jesus Christ, the Messiah, is born. David was the king of Israel from the tribe of Judah, and Jesus Christ was the Lion, the Messiah, from the tribe of Judah. If it wasn't for Samuel, David's not king. If David's not king, maybe, just maybe, Jesus doesn't have an avenue to come. Every single day, you have a major assignment from God to crown kings and queens in his kingdom. In order to do so, you're going to have to conquer your fear, not let your failures stop you, and not see them for who they are, but for who they're going to be. Hey, I really hope this conversation helps you today. Take it, listen to it, apply it, and share it. Share this with someone. Share it on your social media. Share it via text, because people need to conquer their fears. People need to not let their failures stop them. And there's people that you know that need to see people not for who they are, but for who they could be. Hey, if we can help you at RVCC, please let us know. Please let us know. Be sure to go online at rvcommunityforchrist.com. There's ways that you can send us emails. I would love to reach out to you. Our team would love to reach out to you. If you haven't signed up for a daily devotional, please do so. There's tons of free resources. Click the toolbox, and there's tons of PDFs and video resources. There's an ebook that you can download. We've got Ironman coming up. We've got ladies' meetings coming up. We've got fall event. We are here to help you grow in your faith, lead your family, and influence your workplace. Hey, God bless. We'll talk with you next time.